First, I'm going to go over over his case, and then I'm going to go over mine. Let me touch on definitions first. Okay, there are a lot of reasons to believe that when the term United States is used in this resolution, it doesn't just refer to the United States government. It actually refers to the United States as a whole, as a country, which includes NGOs, which includes private parties. The main word from this actually comes from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, abbreviated OECD. The OECD released the following data in the year 2010. They showed that out of all of the United States foreign aid, $161 billion came from private groups, as opposed to $30 billion that came from the official government. In 2011, $108 billion came from private groups, $31 billion came from the government. In 2012, $107 billion came from private organizations, $30 billion came from the government. So clearly what this shows is that in the United States, at least, most of the foreign aid that we send out to other countries comes from private parties, and therefore it would be unreasonable, and there's no reason to think that we should be defining the United States as the United States government. I accept his definition of aid. Let me get to the definitions of protect and of human rights, which I also disagree with when I talk about my contention number one. Let me address his contention number one first. Yeah, let me address contention number one first. So the thrust of contention one is two things. First, that we need to incentivize reform, and second, that on the government's end, the corrupt governments or the behaving government's end, if they don't get enough aid, then they have decreased governmental legitimacy. Let me address the reform incentives argument first. I have four responses. First, he provided no warrant. There's no case, anecdotal or statistical, that shows that conditional aid actually works. My second response is there's arguments that it doesn't work. The Economist, in The Economist, an article on November 19th, 1995, states the following: over the past few years, Kenya has performed a curious mating ritual with its AIDS donors. The steps are the following. 1. Kenya wins its yearly pledges of foreign aid. 2. The government begins to misbehave, backtracking on economic reform and behaving in an authoritarian manner. 3. A new meeting of donor countries looms with exasperated foreign governments preparing their sharp rebukes. 4. Kenya pulls a rabbit out of the hat. 5. The donors are mollified and the aid is pledged. The whole dance then starts again.
Information.
Yeah.
Can you put that in English, please?
If you want to read it, here it is. My third response to contention number one is that if you see that foreign aid can be provided to people directly or citizens directly and not through the middleman of the government, it circumvents the entire issue about governments being encouraged to continue to misbehave because we're giving them foreign aid. Now, there are a lot of good reasons to believe that foreign aid can go directly to the citizens. I'll just give you two reasons. The first is the Berlin Airlift. The Berlin Airlift is an example of the United States in its foreign policy giving aid directly to people. The second example is the American Red Cross. As of December 2011, the American Red Cross and the rest of the global Red Cross network had provided housing to more than 100,000 people after the 2010 Haiti earthquake, showing that foreign aid doesn't have to go through the middleman of, in this case, either Soviet Russia or the Haitian government, but can go directly to the people. The fourth response is that you can't use people as tools. What Ben is essentially arguing is that we should go reform these governments because we should go reform these governments by using people as sacrificial lambs in order to incentivize them, but the harms to the people are unacceptable and immoral for the United States, and we can't use them as tokens or currency by which we try to change governments. I'll skip the fifth response. Subpoint B rests on subpoint A, so it falls. Moving on to my contentions really quickly. First, the resolution is too vague. He has no standard by which we can measure how much protecting human rights actually is measured, and how we're going to quantify that, so there's no way we can actually enforce the resolution. Second is building off of my rebuttal to his contention number one. It's that by surrendering foreign aid, you actually harm a lot of people in a lot of ways. And the third is that you benefit the United States, which I'll show later.
I've been fishing a lot of time.
It's not. I'm used to LD. Is this helpful for the